Good morning, Year 10. Let's go through the next page as well. Now, if you haven't realised already, you are going to need a calculator for these questions, and a phone calculator is going to be a bit difficult to use, so please make sure you've got a scientific calculator in front of you. Right, very much the same as the previous page, these questions, but you'll notice that the thing that this first variable is proportional to is a little bit more complicated. So it might be squared, square rooted, cubed, something like that. Okay, but other than that, it follows exactly the same style of doing it. So we're told that a is directly proportional to b squared, so we can write that using the proportion sign. Here we go. And then we're going to immediately change that to an equals k, remember. Okay, so a equals k b squared, something times b squared. To find out what that constant is, we're going to substitute in these variables, okay, these values for the variables. So a is 50 when b is 5. Now 5 squared is what we're going to do straight away, and that will give us 25. But you know what, I'll just write 5 squared to begin with. I'm just going to write this. Come on, computer. As like that first. Okay, so to work out what k is, I would divide by 25, so k is equal to 2. And I can go back to my general formula, this one here, and write that exactly as it is, except instead of k, I'm going to use 2. And there is my formula connecting a and b. Find the value of a when b is 3. So substituting in the fact that b is 3 now. 2 lots of 3 squared, it's the squared I would do first, so that would be 9, times 2 is 18. I thought Max was meant to be fast. Right, there we go. And find the value of b when a is 200, so this time I'm substituting in place of the a, so 200 equals 2b squared. A little bit harder to rearrange these ones than the previous page, so first I need to divide by 2 to get rid of this 2. That'll give me 100 over here. There's not much room to write these questions, I'm afraid. That's equal to b squared. And then to find what b is, I would square root both sides. So b is equal to square root of 100, which is 10. Okay, let's move down a bit. On to number 10. Y is directly proportional to the square of x. Okay, so that's exactly the same as saying x squared. So y fish x squared. So change that fish to an equals k. Substitute in 6.4 equals something times 4 squared. So 6.4 is equal to, and I'm going to put the 4 squared bit in front of the k, as is common in algebra, to put a number first. Okay, and to work out k, come on, I'm going to do 6.4 divided by 16. And that's 0.4. So my formula is y equals 0.4x squared. Find the value of y when x is 8. Just substituting x equals 8. And that's 25.6. Right, please have a go at these questions. Once you've got the gist of them, have a go at them yourself rather than just watching this video and just copying down. This is only limited value to you. Okay, find the value of x when y is 78.4. So we're going to divide by 0.4. 78.4 divided by 0.4 is 196. That's equal to x squared. So if we square root that, x is 14. Number 11, w is directly proportional to p cubed. So just like the previous page, all of these down the left-hand column are direct proportion questions. So w equals k p cubed. And try and use capital letters where they've used capital letters. Okay. So p is 2, w is 32. So make sure you put them in the right place. Uh, 2 cubed is 8. So k is 32 divided by 8, so 4. So my formula is w equals 4p cubed. Value of w, and p is 4. So 4 cubed is 64, times 4 again is 256. Oops. Value of p when w is 4,000. So if I divide by 4, that will give me 1,000 is equal to p cubed. And then to uncube something, we do the cube root. That will give me what p is, and that is 10. Okay, and the final one on that column, z is directly proportional to the square root of x. So just the same as the other ones, z equals k times the square root of x. Substitute in our numbers. Now we know that the square root of 36 is 6, hopefully. So 12 equals 6k, so k equals 2. And just like any other form of algebra, you can just put a number in front of a square root sign. Okay, like that. The value of z when x is 121. So the square root of 121 is 11. 2 times 11 is 22. When z is 18, we're going to find x. So the first thing I'll do is divide by 2. So that will give me 9. Now 9 is the square root of something. If I square both these, I'll just get x on the right hand side. Doesn't really matter where I write it then. And if I square this, I get 81. And that's that question complete. Okay, let's have a look at the next column. Oh, another direct proportion one here. So c is directly proportional to the cube of d. So c fish d cubed. Now this goes straight to one of the questions, which is work out the value of c when d is 6. I would still do a kind of imagine there being a part A and still write a formula. You're going to need it, so still do that. Substitute in. Come on. Five cubed is 125. So k is 175 divided by 125. So 7/5 or 1.4. So my formula is c equals 1.4 d cubed, and we're going to go. We have to, in this first part of the question, sub in now d equals 6. And gives us 302.4. Value of d when c is this. So we're going to go straight back to using the formula we had. Substitute in. Right, I've got to divide by 1.4 first. 4725 divided by 1.4 is 3375. And then I'm going to find the cube root of that. And we get 15. Okay, number 14. Y varies directly with the cube root of x. Okay, now this is just another way to say is directly proportional to. So get used to seeing it worded differently. Varies directly is exactly the same as directly proportional to. So y directly proportional to the cube root of x. A little bit harder here. Getting into cube roots. Right, we're going to sub in and, well, we're going to use equals k first. Oops. Come on. So the cube root of 4096 is 16. So k is 475. So my formula is y equals 475 times the cube root of x. Calculate the value of y when x is 125. So the cube root of 125 is 5. So you get 2,375. Number 15, the cost of a circular table is directly proportional to the square of its radius. Okay, so this is a question in context. It's nice to have one of those. And of course, if you think about the cost of something which is made of a material like this, you know, provided the thickness of whatever this is stays the same, the cost of something should be proportional to the area of that thing. So this makes complete sense. That it should depend on the square of a radius. You know, if it's circular, if you think about the formula for a circle, it's pi r squared. So as the square of the radius changes, the cost will directly change as well. Okay, you know, with the same proportion. So let's have a look. We're going to tackle this exactly the same way, but we're going to have to come up with our own letters here. So C for cost, and obviously R for radius. So let's start off without reading any more of the information first. The cost is directly proportional to the square of the radius. So we can do that. So we're going to change that to an equals k straight away. Okay, and it tells us that a table with radius of 40 costs £90. 40 centimetres, okay. So 40 squared is 1600. So k is a decimal number, so you could either use a fraction or a decimal. I'll just use a decimal here. 0.05625. I'm not going to do any rounding because this is not my final answer at all. I'm going to plug this back into my general formula so that I've got a formula I can use. Okay, what is the cost of a table with a radius of 60? So I'm just going to substitute 60 in. And that gives me £202 5 pence. Sorry, 50 pence. Okay, and on to the final question. Y is inversely proportional to the square of x. So we've got our first inverse one. So remember 1 over, when you see inverse, the square of x. So in other words, x squared. And we're going to change that proportion sign to an equals k, and the k can take the place of the 1. Okay, substitute in our values. So 200 is equal to something divided by 2 squared, or 4. If I want to know what k is, I can times by 4 to get rid of it from here. Timesing this by 4 will give me 800. So my formula is y equals 800 over x squared. Work out the value of y when x is 5. So when x is 5, x squared would be 25. So that would be 32. And the value of x when y is 50. Right, so if we times by x squared, it'll come up here. And then we need to divide by the 50. So x squared will be equal to 800 over 50. Which is 16, and then square root that to get x, which would be 4. Okay guys, thanks for watching.